The Empire of Babylon, the rise and fall of a civilization. There was once a time, long before Rome rose from its hills, long before Greece sang its myths, when the beating heart of human civilization lay between two great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. In that ancient cradle of humanity, beneath the burning sun and endless deserts of Mesopotamia, stood a city whose name would echo through eternity, Babylon, the gate of the gods, the city of heaven on earth. The birthplace of civilization. The land of Mesopotamia, often called the Fertile Crescent, curved like a green ribbon between the Persian Gulf and the Mediterranean Sea. It was a place of miracles and madness, where floodwaters could both nourish and destroy, and where humanity first learned to write, to build, and to rule. Surrounded by mountains, deserts, and seas, Mesopotamia was a natural fortress, isolated, yet connected by trade routes and faith. Here, among mud-brick cities and golden plains, small tribes of farmers and wanderers began to dream of permanence, of cities, temples, and gods that would outlast time itself. Among them, one settlement slowly began to rise above all others, Babylon. Its name, in the Akkadian language, meant Gate of Heaven, and in the centuries to come, it would live up to that name in ways no one could have imagined. The rise of Babylon. At first, Babylon was nothing more than a modest town, a religious center resting along the Euphrates River. But in the 19th century BCE, something extraordinary began to happen. A people known as the Amorites took control, and among them was a man who would change the course of human history, King Hammurabi. When Hammurabi ascended the throne, Babylon was a small kingdom overshadowed by powerful neighbors, the Elamites, the Assyrians, and the city-states of Sumer and Akkad. But Hammurabi was no ordinary ruler. He was a strategist, a visionary, and above all, a unifier. Through diplomacy, alliances, and carefully planned wars, he began to carve a new destiny for his city. One by one, rival kings fell. By the end of his reign, Babylon had become the capital of a vast empire stretching across the fertile plains of Mesopotamia. Under Hammurabi, the world saw the birth of something truly revolutionary, a state governed not just by force, but by law. The Law of Hammurabi. In the great temple of Marduk, the chief god of Babylon, Hammurabi commissioned one of humanity's earliest and most influential legal documents, the Code of Hammurabi. Carved into stone and written in cuneiform script, it declared a single message to all his subjects: justice belongs to all. The code contained 282 laws regulating every aspect of life: trade, property, marriage, crime, and punishment. It proclaimed an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Harsh by modern standards, yes, but in a world ruled by chaos, it brought order, fairness, and a sense of moral duty. Hammurabi's code was not just a set of rules, it was a vision of how society should function, with equality before the law and accountability for all. That was Hammurabi's true legacy to humankind. The splendor of Babylon. As Babylon grew, so did its glory. The city became the beating heart of culture, science, and art. Along its wide processional roads, priests, astronomers, and scholars gathered to study the stars. From their work came early astronomy, mathematics, and the foundations of the calendar still used today. The city itself was a marvel of architecture. Towering ziggurats, pyramid-like temples, rose toward the heavens. The greatest of them all, the Itemenanki, is said to have inspired the legend of the Tower of Babel. Merchants traveled from every corner of the ancient world, from Arabia, Persia, and even faraway Egypt, bringing gold, spices, and stories. The air of Babylon was filled with music, laughter, and prayers to the gods. At its height, Babylon was believed to be home to more than 200,000 people, making it one of the largest and most advanced cities on Earth. It was a city of wonder and of ambition. The fall of the First Empire. But no empire, no matter how glorious, can last forever. When Hammurabi died, Babylon lost not only a king, but its guiding light. His successors lacked his vision and his strength. Rival kingdoms long subdued began to rise again. Nomadic tribes swept down from the deserts. Rebellions erupted across the empire. Hammurabi's son, King Samsu-iluna, tried desperately to hold the kingdom together, but the tide of history had turned. The southern cities broke away, forming their own independent states. Invasions from the north and east stripped Babylon of its territories. The once mighty empire crumbled, piece by piece, until its temples fell silent and its ziggurats stood abandoned in the dust. By 1595 BCE, Babylon was invaded by the Hittites, warriors from the west who came and vanished like a storm. Soon after, the Kassites took control, ruling for centuries. The old Babylonian Empire had ended, but its spirit endured. The legacy of Babylon. The fall of Babylon was not the end of its story. It was a transformation. Its language, its art, its laws, its vision of kingship, all were inherited by later empires, the Assyrians, the Persians, and even the Greeks. Hammurabi's code inspired justice systems around the world. Babylonian astronomy became the foundation of science. Their mathematics guided farmers, builders, and sailors for generations. Nearly 1,000 years later, Babylon would rise once more radiant and powerful than ever, under the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar II. That was the age of the New Babylonian Empire, the time of the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and the rebirth of a city destined to live forever in history. The Gate of Heaven. Today, the ruins of Babylon still rest beneath the desert sun of modern Iraq, silent, broken, yet eternal. The bricks have crumbled, the temples have fallen, but the spirit of Babylon, the dream of a people who dared to touch the sky, still endures. For Babylon was more than a city. It was an idea, a belief that humanity could rise from chaos, build wisdom from clay, and reach upward toward the divine. And perhaps, in every modern city, in every law written, in every monument built to last, a small piece of Babylon still lives on. The rise and fall of Babylon is not merely a tale of conquest and ruin. It is a reminder that every civilization, no matter how great, is built not only on stone and power, but on the dreams and courage of the people who dared to believe in something greater than themselves. Babylon, the gate of heaven, the place where civilization was born.